Okay, and we're back. All right, last thing we need to do here is set up our AAA and the warning flare and siren. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our group here by right-clicking and saying set group is working. We have our check zone. Again, I'm going to put the check zone kind of in the center. And we have our attack areas, the same thing. I'm going to try and put that in the center. And if we zoom out, you can see here we have the same sort of circles. Okay, then all we need to do is set up our AAA into spots where I think it should be appropriate. And try not to set up the AAA in a spot where players could destroy them, especially allied players. Like players typically will run into, players would be players. They'll run into them, they'll accidentally shoot them, so and so on. All right, so we'll just place one maybe over here somewhere. And that looks good. Oh, and we'll place one right in the middle, maybe right by our airfield. Airfield tower. Okay, so the last thing we have here is our flare truck and our siren. Now, what I like to do is to put the flare truck in a place where the players who spawn in can visually see that flare truck, right? Because what'll happen is when a enemy is nearby, this flare truck will shoot out, and I've already coded it up, will shoot out a an orange flare or a red flare when there's enemy nearby. And then when the enemy leaves, it'll shoot out a green flare to say, hey, there's no more enemy. So if you just spawned in and you see this red flare, then you know, hey, maybe I should despawn or whatever. But if I have it over here, and I spawn in, players aren't going to really see it, right? So it's better to have it somewhere where players can see that flare truck so they can see that flare fire off. The other thing I want to do is take our siren. And so the siren is the same thing. When enemies are nearby, the siren will sound off. And when enemies are not nearby, the siren will not sound off. It'll be quiet. And so what I'm going to do is put the siren right where the players are going to spawn in. Now the siren's got a pretty big radius, but obviously we really want the noise to be the loudest next to the players who spawn in. Okay, and with that set, we have our airfield sort of set up. The last thing we want to do is rename this airfield to be something appropriate. So this is AUK, so we'll select our group and we'll say Allied USAFF, or sorry, USAAF. It's AUK, maybe it's Y29. And then I'm also going to rename the airfield itself. So you can see here where this is the Allied Airfield. And this is what players are going to see in the game when they decide where they want to spawn in. So we could say this is a, Y29, and Allied players will know, hey, that's, Y29. Okay, so this airfield is set up. It has the planes we want. It has the AAA, the scenery, our landing flyers. Everything looks good for this airfield. So now we just need to do this multiple times for Allied. Typically in a combat box mission, you'll have between 3 and 5 airfields. So we need to do this, you know, basically 2 more times at least. And again, we need to also add in, you know, between 3 and 4 more Allied objectives. All right, thanks for watching how to set up airfields. If you have any questions, just let me know.